Yeah, in today's lesson, we are going to talk about the Python programming, and we are going to focus on the control flow. Last week we did operators and functions, right? So, but today we are going to focus on control flow. And so, like I've written here in this note, the statements used for controlling the flow of program are discussed. In addition to that, there are some examples to show how to work with iterative procedures. So if you understand what I mean by that, let's go with the first command. I know this script is so simple and straightforward in the point that I have some notes attached for us, for you guys to be able to go through this over and over. And the first thing it says, create a new string, work with. When we are talking about string, we are talking about letters or numbers that are in inverted comma, right? So that's what string. So string is different from integer. It's different from float. It's different from list. So like this, I have tutorial equals to string, and if you see this, so if you put tutorial means is this. So when you are working with string, is different from, let's say you are working with this is an integer. Integer is let's say tutor equals to 1, 2, 3, right? You can say, okay, print tutor. This is, so if you print, let's look for the type here. So if you look at the type here, the type here is going to give us, so yeah, I do not get one more. Yeah. So the class is an integer. So when you have a whole number like this, is an integer. But what we want to work with, we are starting with a string. And if I should type let's print the type of this tutorial, type, right, of tutorial is a string. Can you see? So a string is when you have character in numeric. It could be in numeric, it could be in alphabetical, but it must be in inverted comma. You understand? We can also have 1, 2, 3 like this in string. Let me call tutor2, right? Tutor2 equals to 1, 2, 3. So if you look at this, this is different from the first from tutor. Type tutor. So can you see? So like string is always in inverted comma. They are is fast, like more or less numeric. They can also be numeric and alphabets, but the difference is they are always in inverted comma, and you cannot do more mathematical work on them. So you can see this one is integer. You can multiply this by 2, anything, but this one is the string format. So now this this is TSU Lib 2022, right? With an exclamation mark. And for us to know the length, so what is the length of the string? What is the length? And I remember the last lesson we did, to know the length of a of a variable, you have to use the function len, length. And if you look at the length here is 20. And how do we get the 20? 1. So I said the index starts from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 19. Do you get so is from where the length is going to be, okay, the length starts from 1. The index starts from 0. Please take note of that. Length starts from 1, index starts from 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So let me put it here. Length length starts from 1, while index starts from 0. So please take note of that. So that we also see we have 20. The length of this tutorial of this string tutorial is 20. So now we can also do some kind of subsetting. Extract a substring. We can extract substring. And I remember I used this particular in the last lesson. For example, if you want to extract from index number 3 to number 9, so you just put index 3. That means it's going to start from index 3 and stop at index 9. So let's look for index 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. That means it will start from X and stop at index 9. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like I said, the index 9 is going to stop, and that 9 will not be included. So if you look at this, so if you look this, let's try again. Let's look at let's look at this. I think we did this last time. I'm just trying to have a kind of refresh for us. So let's say tutorial. So now let me ask, if you want to index this TSU leap 2020 without the exclamation, what number should we put here? You want to start from TSU. You want it to start from P and end at 22 at this. So for us to do that, we have to identify the index number of P. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we start from 8. So if T is 8, then this is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? So we want it to stop at 20, so we have to put 19 so that it won't cover and enter. So that's how to extract substring. When you want to extract a particular set part of a string, you can use this list function to extract it from it by just knowing the index number of where you want it to start and the index number of where you want it to stop. So that's how to do extraction of to extract a substring from a string. Also, the next thing I said, use the string method to remove character from the beginning and end of a string. So in this place, you use, I think I should be putting this in comma, so for you to know this is a function. So if you want to remove a particular part from this from a string, you can use strip. You know, the English literary meaning of the word strip is to remove, to strip something, so to remove. So all you have to do is to name variable dot the strip function, then you put in bracket the part you want to remove. So from this tutorial, if you want to remove the exclamation mark, just tutorial, but because why we are putting tutorial is we are telling this Python to strip this particular function from tutorial. You have to identify the variable dot strip function and what you want to strip. So if you do this, you strip out this exclamation mark. Let me use another example. Let's say tutorial dot strip function. Right now, let's remove the whole of TSU leap 2022. So what I'm going to do is put it TSU leap 2022, and let's see. That means we are going to get this is sorry. Okay. Why we're having this is because this T is appearing here. But I think there should be a way we can do that. Okay, I'm going to show you another alternative. Let's assume we want to use let's strip this, right? And can you see we already stripped this from this? But now let's do something. Now, if we want to strip this TSU to 2022, let's use this method, tutorial dot strip, right? So when we use strip, then we make use of, let's use the index. Let's try to use the index. If it's going to work, let's try to use, let's index is 8, 19. Let's try that. So built-in object is not subscribed to app. So let's do this. Yeah, so it doesn't acknowledge it this way. So what you need to do, and come. Okay, argument string must be none. Yeah. So we can't, so I'm trying to look for alternative for us to strip this particular point to this. And the problem we're having is because this T actually starts with this, but at the same time, we should be able to do that. I'm coming. That's one thing. When you are doing Python work, at times you have to try some things out. So let's take copy this.
So there are multiple ways of trying to get it right.
Exactly, there are multiple ways. So the basic thing is for you to understand there are multiple ways you can say stop in English. So it should be, once you understand the basic of it, you will definitely know which one is convenient for you. Yes, can you see this now? I think we've successfully done it now. Can you see what happened here?
Yes.
So just tutorial.strip, then put in parentheses what you want to strip. So you can see we have removed this. Is now the only problem here is this T has been removed because this particular T appears in two places. Can you see that? Because the T appears in two places, so that's why this T is already removed. So let's try this for let's remove this. So you can see tutorial dot strip is example now and press. Can you see? Tutorial dot strip is, so it's not removing the is. Okay, let's try to see what's going wrong. Now you should be able to remove the is from this. So let's try this. Okay, it moved this. So why is not, let's see, this is okay. Then we should be able to remove from the middle, not just. I think the difficulty here is because we have this and this, but that shouldn't be a problem. It should be able to remove. Okay, the problem we're having here is, I guess, is because this is part of this and also this. So that's why we're having that issue. Let's just change it. Let's change it to this. So you can see how you can strip a particular segment of a string. So another thing we have here is our string hasn't changed. Yes. So when you strip a particular part of a string, that string is not changed. It still remains. For example, now, if you look at this, we have been stripping tutorial, right? And if I should print tutorial now, you will see it's still tutorial. It has not changed. It has not changed. So if you want to strip this tutorial of hyphen and you want to save it into another, you want to give it another variable name, you can now say new underscore tutorial equals tutorial dot strip, right? Dot strip, then what you want to remove out of it, and if you do that, So if we should print this new tutorial now, it will be different from the original tutorial, because we have already removed the exclamation mark from this tutorial. Let me use another example. Let's call it new underscore tutorial 2 equals to tutorial dot strip so it is the strip and bracket. So let's remove this. So what we are trying to do here is we are telling Python to, okay, we want to create a new variable now called new tutorial. We want you to, the content of this new variable is go to the original tutorial and remove this. So we want to save this ASU lib 2022 into a new variable called new tutorial 2. So this is it. This is this. Tutorial 2. Okay. Let's go further. So you can do extraction of subset from particular string and create a new one from the already existing one. So you can see we create is ASU 2022 from an already existing tutorial. So you can do a subset of the values of a string and create a new variable, just like we create is TSU lib 2022 into a new variable, new underscore tutorial 2 from the original tutorial. So you can do that. The next thing is you can create a string variable and pass it into strip method as an argument. You understand? What I'm saying there is you can do a kind of readjustment. If you look at this, sorry. Sorry. You can create a string variable and pass into the strip method as an argument. So let's create a new variable called 2 underscore strip, which is equals to this, right? That's 2555. Now tutorial strip 2555. Okay, so what this is saying is if you want, you can if let me change this. For you to understand, I think let me say, let's say this is 20. No, because I didn't use number. Let's use TSU, okay, lib 2022. Okay. So now what this is saying is if you want to remove if you want to strip a particular segment of a string, you can assign that particular segment to a variable, as you can see here. Then what you just need to do is just go to the tutorial.strip that part. For example, this is if you look at this tutorial, this is TSU 2022 exclamation mark, right? Now, if you want to remove this TSU, exclamation mark, we have used different methods. The first method we used the other time is to put this TSU exclamation mark in front of strip, right? Which is what we did here, isn't it? Now, another alternative way to do it is you can give this part that we want to remove we can call it a new variable. Let's call it to strip, right? So once you do that, we can now say, okay, this tutorial dot strip in brackets strip. So what we are saying in the simple time is we want to remove what this to strip stand for. If you do that, it will give us this. So you can see the result that we have here is the same as the result we have here. In this place, just type what you want to remove directly into the strip function. But in this place, we first of all save what we want to remove into a variable called strip. Then we now put this to strip into this, because to strip is equals to what you want to remove. I believe you understand that. Now, another thing in this thing is when you what they call create a for loop. That's what they call loop. A loop is like a pipe that some condition will go through and begin to give you your outcome. For example, if I say for is a loop function in Python. For this let me put this for items or for alphabet, for numbers, for alphabet. Okay, let me use alphabet in this case. Alphabet. For alphabet tutorial, that's for every alphabet in tutorial, print the alphabet for me. Print alphabet. Sorry, alphabet. Okay. So for alphabet in tutorial, when you are using a loop sentence, you have to use this colon statement. So anytime you use for alphabet or for for number, depending on what you are working with, in tutorial, you use this column, and once you do that, the next thing automatically, let me show you what I mean. Once you use this, it will create a then, because this is a condition. This is more like conditional statement for alphabet in tutorial. Print alphabet. Okay, sorry, because of the wrong spelling. I don't know if there is E, but at least because of can you see it says name alphabet is not defined. So this alpha is not, because I think it's a difference in the spelling. Can you see? So it's going to print each for you one after the other, one after the other. So it starts from T, H, I, S, I, S. Can you see that? Let me use another example so that you can understand. Let's say there is a variable. Let's say there is a variable called, let's say H equals to, let's make it a list. Let's say 25, 40, 8. Yeah. Do you get that now? Now, you cannot say for numbers in H. Anytime you use the for, you have to put this colon, enter. If you create a dent, that's like a tab, but if it's not there, it can't work. Print numbers. Can you see? So what you are trying to say is, for every numbers in each, print each number for me. Print each number in each. So it's going to print them one after the other. So that's what is referred to as the for loop. So if you go, the first what it's saying there is, if you go, okay, for numbers in each, print number. The first number is 23, it will print. Go back again, look for the second number, print, third number, print, fourth number, print. So it will print it as many numbers that, because you already said for numbers in each, print all the numbers. So it's going to print them one after the other, one after the other. At this point, this will be more logical, but it's something you guys can get and you guys can get straight. So the next function I put there is use split to break a string. You can split a string into different sections. Let's see. But this is for, so let's see what we have here, string. So what you are saying is split the string into different, don't forget the tutorial is, this is TSU. You can see is able to split it into different form. This separate, is separate, TSU lib 2022 exclamation mark separate. Let's do the same thing for tutorial 2. So let's say tutorial 2, right? And let's say split. So you can use this split function to split. Okay, so I think our tutorial 2 is just one, is just a number. Okay, let's look for something that is a number. New tutorial. Okay, new tutorial. Tutorial 2. Can you see? New tutorial is not having exclamation, so it says it separate them. Let's go for new tutorial 2 so that you can understand new tutorial 2, right? Dot split. So in new tutorial we have is TSU lib. So it separates is, it split is separate, TSU 2022 exclamation mark separate. Can you see that? But all these things we have been doing on tutorial does not change what tutorial is all about, because we are not saving whatever we are doing. The only place where we save it is under the new tutorial. So it's still what we have, the value of the string character of tutorial is still the same. Another thing you can do is you can use default argument. This you can pass other substring to split on. In this case now, what you are saying is split L from it. Let me show you. You can see, if you look at this, is the original tutorial, right? Now we now say split. So what we are saying is take alphabet I out of what of it. So anywhere you see I, you see I being split from others. And you see this I has been taken. This is the S, because this I is the one between the S. So this is why we have H. I is taken, this is this S. Then this other I is taken, and this S is taken. So can you see that? Those are the things, all these things are very useful by the time you get to some conditional statements to write some program in R. So let's try another example of this. Let's say we want to split tutorial. Let's go to tutorial dot split. Let's split T from this, and let's see what we have. Can you see? T has been split from what we have here. This is T has been splitted from. Can you see? So we have T here, it has been taken away. We have T, it has been taken away. So that's, so you can use all these functions, split, strip, to get subset or to split a character in a string. So just for substrings. Another function I here is use the find method to return the index of the first instance for some substring within another string. So now let me do this now. If you want, so you can use this find, know the index of a particular alphabet, a particular element in a string. you can use the word find. So now, if you are looking for what is the index of P in this, instead of us counting 0, 1, 2, 3, you can use this function. Can you see? It says the index find. This find means you are finding the index of P. The index of P here is 14. And I'm sure if we count this, by the time we get to P, it's going to be 14. Let's do that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Can you see? P is 14. So the index of P is 14. Instead of us counting, you just use the find function to identify the index of P. Let's try another one. Let's see tutorial dot find, right? So somebody should suggest a letter we should find. Somebody should suggest a letter we should find.
Let E.
So let's find letter E. Okay. So the index is 12 for letter E. So can you see? So instead of us counting one after the other, you can use this find function to return the index number of a particular character in a string. You understand? So you can use that. So let's change this to A. It's going to be A is 13. You understand? Let's see what will happen in a situation whereby we have more than 2 number in it. Let's try 2. Let's see. So since we are using 2, it picks the last one, 15. So let's use T and C. So all these things you can practice and say, okay, what will be the result? So in this case, T it picks the first T. That's why we're having 0. Now, so another thing you can do is you can also find the index of probably a sentence. If you look at this, of a word, rather, word. So if you look at this, if you are looking at word, not alphabet, this will be 0, space will be 1, this will be 2, this space will be 3, and this will be 4. So you can use the same thing. You can do the same thing to find that. And one of the methods to do this method used here is 2_find equals to this. So we assign this to a variable, and when we look for this is this, right? Now tutorial dot find, because we already defined to find to be this, and that's why we're having this. Another, let's try this direct method. Let's try the direct method to see tutorial dot find, right? Let's put this directly. This. Let's see. Can you see? You can either use this direct method of putting the exact word you are looking for here, or you can assign a new variable. You can assign what you want to find to a new variable. So in this case, we assign this to a new variable, and we put tutorial find this new variable, which is equal to this, and is 0. Or you can just say tutorial dot find the word you are looking for. So if you are doing when you are doing some data analysis, there are some maybe you are looking for missing data. You can just tell Python, okay, look for missing data. Is there any missing data? So if there is a missing data, it will tell you there is a missing data. If there is no missing data, it tells you there is no missing data. So all these functions are used in that. So another thing I want us to do is to create a new list by splitting the string. You know, we can create a new list. I've shown you how to split. Splitting is just separating those words separately. And if you want to split, if you want to create a new list, a new string, in this case, so let's say new list of word equals to tutorial dot split. When you print the word split, it gives you this. So let's use another method. Let's try another example. Let's call it new list equals to, let's split new tutorial, new _tutorial I don't, okay, let's tutorial 1. Okay. Dot split. What you are saying here is we want to split the new tutorial. Let me show you exactly what is in the new tutorial. New tutorial. This is what we have in this. This is what is in new tutorial. We want to split it, and this splitting we want to do, we don't want to lose it. We want to create a new variable for it, and that's what is called new split. So whatever we do here will be saved in this new tutorial, in this new list rather. So what we are doing here is we are splitting new tutorial and we are saving it into a new variable called new list. So let's new list and let's run. So can you see we've splitted this to different segments and we save it in new list. So anytime you click new list, it's going to give you this. Can you see this now? So when you this is a list. When you type, when you want to know the class, whether it's a list, whether it's a string or integer, I remember I said it, you just put type list. So if you say list, so this is list. Let's look for what is new list. New list. New list is also, so let me just put print so that it can give us print. Can you see it says the class is list? So this one is list, this one is also a list. So it doesn't change their character, their class is still list. So now another thing we used to do is I think I will be putting this function in because if I don't put in bracket, you may not know. The instance function. This function tells you if some variable is an instance of some data. What that means is this function is, it will tell you if a particular character is, if something is an instance of, for example, if you look at this word, what you are saying is this list of word, is it a list? We are asking, is list of word an instance of list? And it says true. Because if you look at it, if you look at the class of list of word, the class is a list, right? So if I'm not asking is list of word a list, it says true. Let me try and say, is it a string, and see what will happen. So let me use is instance list underscore, okay. Is it a string? What I'm doing now is I'm asking now, is list of word a string? That's the question I'm asking. You know, if we when you the difference between this function and type is when you put type will tell you exactly whether it is a list, whether it is integer, a float. But this one you are asking, this one will tell you whether it is yes or no. So if I should ask now, is list of word string or is it a string? If you tell me, sorry, I'm putting it after, sorry, okay, is instant, okay, sorry. Can you see? Because I'm not, yeah, there is wrong spelling. So this thing is case sensitive. Can you see? It says false. What this means is list of word is not a class. Sorry, the class is not a string. But if you look here, it is a string. And if I should type, if you should type of this, type of list of word, it's a list. So that is why when I ask, is this a list? It says true, it's a list. When I ask, is it a string? It says false. It's not a string, it's a list. So let's try the same thing. Let's try the same thing for tutorial. So let's say is instance is tutorial, comma, a list. It says false. Tutorial is not a list. Okay, is it a string? So is instance tutorial a string? It says yes. It is. Can you see the logic? So we also have, I think I have, so it's false. So, and if you look at it, it's the word key, it's truly a string. So some functions are already programmed and stored in pre-built classes that are available to use if you just import them. So when you are working with some class of word, some string, there are some inbuilt functions. So all just you need to do is just to import them. And this, so for example, import Python string module. We have access to its existing function. See all the string functions. So when you are working with a string, there are different functions that is available that you can use to manipulate it. And I have this already. If you can, if you go to this website, it will give you different, it's a document, it will give you different type of function that is available for string. There are some things you can do with string that I've not even input in this Python script I'm using now. So you learn more from those websites I'm providing if you have time. Let's import. So when you want to import a module in Python, you just need to type import space the name of the module you want to import, and you press Shift Enter, or you click on Run. So we've imported this. So use the string get method to turn a list into a string. So you can use this get method to turn a list into a string. So we know already that this list is a list of what? This particular one is a list. So we can use the joint to turn it to a what? To a string. So if I should type this now, it's not good. Type, because you already convert it, type list of word. So it's still a list. Okay. Okay, it's still a list. Okay, let me see. Use the string join method to turn a list into a string. So that's okay. Let me try to look at that. I think that is an error. Okay. The list of word here that we have here is, let's check for the type. It's a list. Fine. So we use the joint list. I think it's still giving us a list. Okay, it's still giving us a list. Okay, anything come, let me see. Name join is not defined. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So can you see if we should, let's look for, so if this actually converted from the split format, can you see the difference now? This actually converted from the split format to a normal list format, and it's still a list. Let's look at the Boolean expression. You can ask yourself, what is the Boolean expression? In a simple term, the Boolean expression are word that says whether true or false. In a simple term, and if you look at what I have here, a Boolean expression is one that can be evaluated by Python and interpreted as being true or false. Okay, John is a boy. Is John a boy? Yes or no? So when you put John is a boy, is John a boy? Python will tell you yes or no. No, is it that true or false? So you can think of it as making an assertion and having Python tell you if you are right or not in making that assertion. Can you see? It does not pass moral judgment, but will tell you if your assertion is valid. So the operator plus operator is an assertion that what is on the left of it is equivalent to. So now let's use this now. When you want to use this, I always want to put these functions in so that we know. Now, this function now, if I'm saying 2 plus 2 is 2 plus 2, when you see double is equals to, there is difference between this and this. When you want to assign a variable, like we have been doing from here, when you want to assign a new thing to a variable, a value to a variable, that's when you use this. But when you want to ask if something is equals to, you want to ask a question, that's when you use double. For example, what this statement means is 2 plus 2 equals to 4? That is the question we are asking Python. And when you click it, it tells you what? True. Is 10 multiplied by 10 equals to 100? It says true. So now let's now ask now 10 multiplied by 10, is it equals to 120? False. So this is a kind of a Boolean expression figure. It is called the plus operator. It is to take an assertion. What you are asking is 2 plus 2 equals to 4. It is true. Is 10 multiplied by 10 equals to 100? True. Is 10 multiplied by 10 equals to 120? False. So Boolean expression are the expression that tells you whether your statement, whatever you are doing, is true or false. Let's look at another example. You can also use this statement to compare two variables. If you say A equals to 1, B also equals to 1, we can now ask, is A equals to B? It says true. Right? It's just like saying, let's say Max equals to boy, Jane equals to girl, right? And let's now ask, is Max equals to Jane? It says false. Can you see that? So it's the same thing. So you are just trying to confirm something. So there are situations when you are doing, you don't know whether it is, but you can just use this to confirm. Let's go. I said C equals to 2, D equals to 3. So C equals to D, it says false. Can you see? Apart from this, you can also use to confirm whether some greater than or equals, greater than or less than. If you say A equals A greater than 10, don't forget our A is 1, right? We're asking ourselves, is A, which is 1, greater than 10? It's false. When you type it, it will tell you false. If you say, is A greater than 0.1, it will tell you true, because our A is 1, and 1 is greater than 0.1. It says true. So you can use it for equals to or not equals to. At the same time, you can use to less than or greater than. You can also use for equals, less than or equals to, less than or greater than. You understand? Okay, we are saying is A greater than or equals to 1. So this is a condition statement. It says if A is equals to 1, it should be true. If A is greater than 1, it will be true. So, and don't forget our A is equals to what? A is equals to 1. So even though A is not greater than 1, but it is equals to 1, that is the condition. Is A greater than or equals to 1? And it says true. Let's put 5. Is A greater than or equals to 5? False. A is not greater than 5 and is not equals to 5. Can you see that? So the next one is this command, this exclamation mark and equals to. This exclamation mark means not equal. It means does not equal. So is A not equals to B? The answer is false. Why? Because ordinarily A is 1, B is 1. So if you're asking, is A not equals to B? It's false because A is 1, B is 1. Do you see that? The next one, it says, is C not equals to D? It says true because is C and D equal? What is the value of C and D? Value of C is 2, value of D is 3. So they are not equal to each other, and that is why we are getting true results. Now, we can also use this. We can also use the AND function to test two statements. So use AND to return true if multiple conditions are satisfied. So AND, in the case of AND, the two statements must be true. If one is true, the other is false. The result of Python will be false. For example, E equals to 5, right? And we say now, and our C equal, what is C? C equals to 2, right? Now, E equals to 5. Let me put it there so that we can know. C equals to 2. So the value of E is 5. The value of C is 2. Now, we are now asking Python this question. Is C equals to 2? And if you look at this, it is yes, right? Because C equals to 2, right? Fine. And is C less than 3? Can you see? So we have two conditions now. The first condition is C equals to 2. The second condition is C less than 3. And if you look at the value of C, C is 2, which is true. C equals to 2. And 2, which is C, is less than 3. And that is why we have it true. Now let's now go to, so for AND, when you are using AND to combine multiple conditions, all the conditions must be true before you can get a true value. If one of the condition is true and the other one is not correct, it will give you false. Let's use this. Let's go to this other example. C equals to 2. Is C greater than 3? It's false. Only C equals to 2, but C is not greater than 3 because the value of C is 2. That's why we're having false. Is it straightforward? Any question?
So there's no way if one condition is right and the other is wrong that it can still be true at the, like, to give you an answer.
Yeah, yes, that's when you are using OR statement. That is the next one we are going to look at. This is it. So use OR to return true if either condition is satisfied. If either condition, so there's a difference between the and the OR. When you are using AND, the two conditions must be satisfied. But when you are using OR, one of the conditions must be correct. Let's look at this. C is less than 2. C is greater than 5. It's less than 5. Is C less than 2? C is actually 2. It is not less than 2. It just equals to 2, right? But so this statement is not correct. But C is less than 5. Is less than 5. That is why we have it true. Because this condition is not true, but this one is true. When you're using OR, one of the conditions must be satisfied. In this case, this condition is not satisfied, but this is satisfied. That's why we have it true. Let's go to the next question, the next example. Is C less than 2? No. Is C greater than 5? No. That's why we're having false. None of the two conditions that we have here are satisfied. None of it. The two statements, the two of them are false. That is why we are getting false. So always take note of the difference between and or. And the two conditions must be satisfied before you can get it true. For or, one of the conditions must be satisfied before you can get it true. Do we get that? So
Yes.
I also put it here. C equals to 5 is false because our C is equals to 2. It's not equals to 5. Now, another thing is the not. The not is almost the same thing like the is not. The exclamation mark equals to not is to negate a condition. To negate a condition. So to say that the condition, even though the condition is true, to say it's not true. Now, it's normally when we look at is C equals to 5, it says false. But now we put not in front of it. Is C not equals to 5? It says true. You can see this difference between these two. This one says is C equals to 5. It says false. It's not equals to 5. This say is C not equals to 5? Yes, C is not equals to 5, and it's true. Can you get the difference between this and this?
Yes, sir.
Can you get the difference? So can you say, so that's it. So if you look at it, F equals to 2. F equals to 2 is F, not F, is false. If I put ordinarily F equals to true, right? And when I print F, it gives me true, isn't it? But now I'm not saying not. So is F not true? It's false because F is true. Do you get that now? I believe by the time you go, you know, it's somehow it's logical. To be sincere, this is logical, but it's very reasonable. Another thing is the modulus. I think I remember we talked about the modulus is just looking about the remainder. So when you divide 10 divided by 5 is equals to 0, right? 10 divided by 5. When you divide 10 divided by 5, it's 2.0. The remainder is 0. That's why we are getting, so it's only, this modulus only look at remainder. So in this case, 10 divided by 3 is what? Is 3.1 or so. That's the remainder is 1. That's why we are having this. Now, so I want us to go to this controlling the flow of program execution. Now, at this point, we are going to do a kind of program as controlling the flow of program execution. And it is very straightforward. We are going to use about 5 conditional statements: if, then, and else. And else, rather. Use an if statement. An if statement. We know that if statement is a conditional statement, right? To execute indented code. Now, let me show you this. We are assigning a variable to letter S. S equals to 9, right? I want you to follow this. This is tricky, but it's reasonable. S equals to 9, isn't it? So I want to do something. Okay. And okay, I'm coming. Okay. Now, listen to this. Look at this. Now, S equals to 9. Yes. Now, I'm not saying if S is less than 10, print correct. Are you getting me? So the question now is, the Python will now look at, this is a statement. before I can print the word correct, my x must be less than 10. If x is not less than 10, it will not print the word correct. It won't print. So x equals to 9. If x is less than 10, print correct. Is x less than 10? Is x less than 10?
Yes. X is.
That's why we're having correct. Now let's try this now. X equals to 20, right? If x is less than 10, anytime you are using this statement, if, for, then, else, elif, you have to use indent. Space, you just enter print correct. Now, let's ask ourselves. We said if x is less than 10, print correct. What is the value of x?
X is 20.
20. Is x less than 10? Is 20 less than 10?
False. No.
Let's print that and see what will happen. Can you see? I already run the script. Does it print anything? No. Because the only condition it can print correct is when x is less than 10. And since x is not less than 10, it's not going to print that. Do you get it now? Now, let's go further and do this. So let's say x is equals to 10. Now, if x is greater than 10, so let me, for you to be able to, let me use that. Now, x is equals to 9. If x is less than 9, I said print x in form of string. Because if I should put, if I should put ordinary x here, it's not going to work. Do you know, can you tell me why this is not working? From this unsupported operand type or plus, int an integer. You cannot add a letter, an integer to a string. You remember what you did last time? You cannot add x. Even in mathematics, can you say 2 plus x? What will be the result? Is it possible for us to say 2 plus x in mathematics? No. Because x is not, has no variable. Until you know what the variable of x is, that's when you can add it to a number. And that is when it is an integer. So what I want to print here is, I want you to tell me that, I want you to put it here is a statement. So I have to convert x to a string before I can print. Let me now show you this. X is less than 10. What I'm doing is this. X equals to 9. If x is less than 10, print 9, which is x, integer, is less than 10. Can you see the statement, the condition? So if x is less than 10, please print x is less than 10. Or better still, yes, you can. Let me try this. I hope you, because I hope you guys can get this. Let me use this and see. Okay. Let me just use this to in a simple term. Let me use that string. So now, if x is equals to 9, if x is less than 10, print x. This is a string plus is less than 10. So anytime you put the value of x, are you getting me? And if it meets this condition, it will give you x is less than 10. But if you change the value of x to 15, the question is x less than 10? No, definitely you are not going to get any printout. Let's copy. Can you see? Because it's not going to print this statement because x is not less than 10. it can only print this statement only when this condition is satisfied. And it is simple, just x equals to 15. If x is less than 10, print x plus is less than 10. Let me change it to 7. X is equals to 7. If x is less than 10, print x is less than 10. Can you see? It's a conditional statement. So Python will make sure it, so all these things you are doing on your laptop, everything is based on a condition. When you set your password to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what you are telling your phone is, anytime I'm entering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, open my phone. Let me be able to access my phone. So anytime you are not, condition of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not met, your phone will never open. Just as this condition, if this condition is not met, this is not going to be printed. It's the same thing that was programmed on your phone. Or even if you are using facial recognition, the moment your phone is not recognizing your face, that is the condition that your phone can be open. The moment your phone is not seeing your face, that phone is not going to be open. If you put it on people that even look like you, because they already programmed it to your face, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Do you know? So it is a conditional statement. If that condition is not met, it's not going to print that, except you use another condition. So let's go further. You can change condition together. You can change condition together with and or function. Now, if x is equals to 3.5, you see, if you look at this one, we only look one condition. If x is less than 10, that is just one condition. There are situations whereby you can use multiple conditions with and or with and or. Now, let's look at this. If x is equals to 3.5, right? X is equals to 3.5. So if x, I use this comma to separate each conditions. I purposely use this parenthesis, rather, the parenthesis to separate each condition. S is equals to 3.5. If the first condition, if S is greater than or equals to 5, one condition. And if S is less than or equals to 6, are you with me? Print S is between 3 and 5. The first condition is if my X is greater than or equals to 3. So let's ask ourselves, is S greater than or equals to 3?
Yes.
Yes, we meet that condition. And if X is less than or equals to 6, is it?
Yes.
That is, once this condition is met, then it will be able to print this. And don't forget, we are using and. And means the two conditions must be met before this thing can happen. So if you print it, it says S is in between 3 and 6, right? So now let's do something. Let's change one of these conditions to false. So X equals to 3.5, right? If S is greater than or equal to 3, okay. And the second condition, if X is greater than, let's do greater than or equals to 6, right? Print X is between 3 and 6. So now, and if you look at this condition is true, right? Is X greater than or equals to 6? No, right? Let's run it. Let's run this script. Can you see? Nothing is being printed. because when you are using and, these two conditions must be true. These two conditions must be true when you are using and. Let's use or for this condition and see whether it's going to print anything. Let's use this condition and see whether it's going to print. Let's change it to or now. Can you see? Does it work? Because for or, one of the conditions must be satisfied. Even though this condition is false, but this is true. That's why we're having this. But when we use on, when we use and, nothing happens. Because and requires the two conditions to be true before this can work. But in this case, for or function operator, one of the two must be correct. And this is correct, this is false, it already so is or just English. Or is either you are this or that. That's the condition. Now, I want us to go into another conditional statement now. If you look at what we did here, when we use and here, because this one of these conditions is not working, is not right, we could not, nothing could be, we couldn't get response because it's not right. Now, in Python, when you are writing a script, when you use if, the first statement, if, for example, let me use this for example, x equals to 10, right? If x is less than 10, print x is less than 10, right? Isn't it? Now, what about then if x is not less than 10, we can say it again and say leave. That is, if this condition is not met, if s is not less than 10, okay, when s is equals to 10, print s equals to 10. So if these two now, let's assume s is not less than 10, s is not equals to 10, none of these two conditions is met, we can now say s, whatever is the condition, print s is greater than 10. Let me do this so that you can. Now let's do it one after the other. Now we say s equals to 10, right? Isn't it? Now s equals to 10. If x equals, sorry, if x is less than 10, right? Put this when you use if. Don't forget if, for, then, elif, and the rest. Press enter. So s equals to 10. The first condition, if s is equals to 10, print x is less than 10, right? So let's try this condition. If it is true, can you see this condition is not true because s is not less than 10. So when that happens, what can we do? But we want it to print something out. Let's now, the next thing is to use elif. Elif means if this condition is not true, then if elif s equals to 10, right? Print x equals 10, right? Are you getting it? Now, So that is the statement now. So let's print now. Let's run this program. So we have two conditions. If x equals to 10, if x is less than 10 rather, it will print x is less than 10. But if that statement is not true, if x equals to 10, it will print equals to 10. So when you run your script, Python will check this condition. What is the value of x in the first place? X equals to f is 10, right? Is x less than 10? No. That is not going to print this statement. The next thing is to go to the next condition. Is x equals to 10? Yes. That is why we are having x equals to 10. Now, let's change this to 15 and run it. Can you see this? Run. When we run it, nothing is not giving us any outcome. Why? Because our x is now 15. X is not less, this 15 is not less than 10. This condition is not met. X is not equals to 10. 15 is not equals to 10. This condition is not met. In this situation, what you do is to now give as the last statement S. Do you get that? Print. This S means if these two conditions are not met, then print S is greater than 10. So if you look at this condition now, 15 is not less than 10. Then he is not going to print this. 15 is not equals to 10. It's not going to print this. 15 now, and I said S. If these two conditions is not there, definitely, if these two conditions are not met, definitely S is greater than 10. Print this. Let's run this and see. So can you see the first condition is not true, second condition is not true, third condition is true, and this. Let's change this to 10. And let's print it. Which statement do you think is going to give us? If you run this, let's run it. S is equals to 10. Because the first condition, 10 is not less than 10, but 10 is equals to 10. So let's change this to 5 or 1. Is S less than 10? Yes, this is what is going to, the first is what you are going to get. You see, S is less than 10. So the three statement if, elif, S. If is the first statement that you give. Elif is the opposite of the first statement, F, if rather. But when none of the two statements are correct, you use S. Okay, I can say if Temi equals to a boy. So let's do a simple example. So let me say Temi equals to boy, right? I just want to use that as an example for you. So if Tim equals to boy, you get it? Print Tim is a boy. Now, elif Tim. So if the first statement is not correct, definitely Tim must be a girl. Right? So, but if term is not given, if you don't know whatever term is now, oh sorry. Yeah. So print Tim is a girl, right? Now, if none of this condition is true, else print Tim gender is not known. Can you see? So we have the statement already. If Tim is a boy, we already define what Tim is. Tim is a boy, right? If Tim is a boy, Tim is a boy. If Tim is a girl, Tim is a girl. But if none of these two conditions is not known, Tim's gender is okay. It's not, because do you know why we are getting this? This is not is a function. So Tim gender is, let me use unknown. Yeah, I know I'm going to have yes. Okay. I think yes. Okay, I will explain what happened just to you. I will explain that to you. I think that's something that I need to. Yes. Is okay, I can see use not. Yeah. Okay. Now, what we have done here, the statement we already free is a boy, right? If Tim is a boy, Tim is a boy. And if you look at it, we have Tim is a boy because this statement is known. If Tim is a girl, Tim is a girl. So if we change this to a girl now, it will say Tim is a girl. Let's assume we didn't put anything there. Let's see what it's going to give us. Tim's gender is not known because the here nothing is there. The first condition, Tim is not equal to a boy. The second one, Tim is not equal to a girl. S, Tim gender is unknown. And this is when you are filling a particular form online and your name is not your name. Maybe you forgot to fill a particular form. It will come to you because they already know that something must be there. So in this case, now let's assume you are filling a form. I can just say print this question must be answered. You see, so by the time this person, maybe this person forgot to put his name, his age, his gender. We can name this to be gender. Let's say it's gender. Let's say it's gender. So let's change this to gender. So when you are filling your form, they're asking your gender, are you a male or female? You understand? Can you see? When you are filling your gender in a form, a male or female, and you forgot to put something here, that particular place has been programmed. So the moment you forgot, if you give a response, it will even put it in red that this question must be what? Must be answered. Because you have not met the condition for this place. You have not met that condition. And you must make sure you meet the condition. So can you guys understand how conditional these things are? I'm not rushing. It doesn't matter the number of time we are spending. What matters is putting it in a simple term for everybody to understand. So that's it. So the same thing happens here. We've done this. Y equals to 15. If y is less than 10, int y is less than 10. Elif, if y equals to 10, int y equals to 10. S, if y is s, print y is greater than 10. And when we run it, it says Why is greater than 10? Because these two statements were not met. Definitely, this is the condition to print. Another thing in another function here is the encapsulation. The encapsulation can allow you to turn handful of questions. It can make you to repeat, to reuse a function. You can reuse a function. And I will show you what I mean by that. When you are using the encapsulation, you use the function df. This df means define. You have to define what this is. So now, if I want to ask your age, everybody on the chat, on the tutorial, or anybody watching the video, what is your age? I will put define ASU leap age. So define your age. So in bracket is the value, right? Now, if this value is greater than, maybe for example, you want to apply for a particular scholarship, and they say if you are more than 20 years of age, you cannot apply, you are not qualified. So now okay, enter your age as value. If your age value, let me just change this to age. Let me change it to age so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. If your age is, if the age entered here is greater than 20, print you are not qualified for this scholarship, to apply for this scholarship. You are not qualified to apply for this scholarship. So if the age of this person is greater than 20, print you are not qualified to apply for this scholarship. Let me put now. If the age is equals to 20, are you getting me? Put you are qualified. Okay, so maybe it is between someone from the age of 15 and 20. Maybe anybody within the age of 15 to 20. So I can say if your age is greater than, if your age is greater than or equals to 15, you can see how I'm going to use multiple. Now, this scholarship now, anybody below the age of 15 cannot apply. Anybody above the age of 15, above the age of 20 cannot apply. So if your age is greater than and sorry, it should be age, not. Look at this. Very straightforward. Age is equals to 20. Now, what I'm doing here is this scholarship now. Anybody that wants to apply for it must not be more than 20 years old and must not be less than 15 years old. So the first one says if your age is more than 20, you are not qualified to apply for this scholarship. If your age is equals to or greater than 20, 15 rather, and at the same time equals to 20, print you are qualified to apply for this scholarship. Continue with your application. Now, so anybody that fall between 15 to 20, you are qualified to apply for the scholarship. Continue with your application. Do you get that? Else, if the person is more than 20, or the person is less than 15, yes, means you are not qualified. I will still put you are not qualified because you do not fall into that bracket. Can you see that now? So now, we already set this thing now. So this define, you don't forget I said you can reuse this function. Now, anybody that comes now, if you ask page, so let me call it scholarship page. Let me just put scholarship page. Let's scholarship page. Let's put SH. I'm trying to use a practical example so that now, let's say this person now comes and say, my age, I'm 10 years old, right? Let's see what is going to print out. Okay, sorry, I think. Okay, because can you see what happened? This school age is not defined because what I have here is capital letter S, and what I have here is small letter. It is case sensitive. That's why you have to read this to know where the problem is. Can you see? Because this person age is 10, it says you are not qualified to apply for this scholarship. How does this happen? We already put it there. If your age is now, this is 10, right? Is 10 greater than 20? No. Is 10 equals to or greater than 15? No. Is 10 equals to 20? No. Once this condition is not met, the next statement is you are not qualified for this scholarship. Now, let's use someone that is 15 years old. Now, let's change this to 15 years old and run. If your age is equals, if your age equals, okay, that's if it should be equal, yes. If your age equals to 15, no. If your age is greater than, okay, yeah, this is the correct sign. I'm sorry. No. If your age is greater than 15 or equals to 15, yeah, you are not qualified to apply. No, it's supposed to be qualified. It's also, if your age is, okay, sorry, I'm supposed to use, let's use all. Yeah, all should be the statement here. If your age is equals to or greater than 15, no. If you use all, is anybody, even somebody with 30 will apply. Yeah, so if I change it to 30, this one person will apply. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we are correct. So it should be all. I'm supposed to use all here. So you see that the person's age is equals to 15 or equals to 20. I believe, are you getting how the arrangement is? So now, this person is 30. It says you are not qualified to apply for this scholarship. Let's use 16. You are qualified to apply for this scholarship. Continue with your application. So any persons that comes from 15 to 20 will be qualified. Can you see? Let's use 18. You are qualified. But anything 21, you are not qualified. 14, you are not qualified. Can you see the statement? What you have, you see, one thing about this statement point is whatever we've been learning from beginning, you begin to amalgamate them, put them together. So let's go back and explain. Now, we are trying to create a scholarship age that if your age is between 15 to 20, you are qualified. But if your age is less than 15 or above 20, you are not qualified. And we made the statement. So we define, because everybody will come and fill their form. We define school age, right? Scholarship age. We put age in bracket. So this means age is what they're going to fill here. So if age, whatever value you put here, is greater than 20, means you are not qualified to apply for this scholarship. Leave, if your age is greater than or equals to 15, or your age equals to 20. So if this person's age is equals to 15 or higher than 15, you'll be qualified. But if it goes beyond 20, this condition will not permit you to work. So if your age is equals to 15 or above 15, you are qualified. If your age equals to 20, you are qualified. Yes, if you do not satisfy any of these conditions, you are not qualified to apply. You are not qualified to apply for this scholarship, and that is what we have here. So this define function, this same function, permit us to reuse this. This is what they use when you fill form. You see that? So anybody can just come. I'm 60 years old. If you tell you are not qualified to apply for this scholarship based on the age, we already set it by age. You are not qualified to apply for this scholarship because your age is above the qualification age. So let's go. So if your function can return result that you can use elsewhere in your code, yes, we can use this function. You can make this function to be reused somewhere else. This define function, okay, define greater than x, y. You see, anytime you use this define means is this value, anybody can put any value in it, x and y. My x can be 10, my x can be 20. So I said greater than x, value y. If x is greater than y, return true, or you can say print true. Yes, print false. What that means now, if you now have this, you can now say, okay. So don't forget, we already defined like what you did here. Let me go here. So if somebody now come and say his age is, because we already defined this is 20, you are qualified to apply for this scholarship. Can you see? This is where we have it. Doing this cannot be done on this because this does not have this function. We have, if you want to do repeat, you have to be changing it here. But for this one, this function has been defined already. Anywhere you can use it. You can use it if it is usable. This age code, that's called age. If I use it down here, let me put it down here. It will still give me the correct answer because I have already defined. I don't need to repeat that code again anywhere I'm working. I have already defined it. Let's put 23. Can you see? So anywhere I've already defined this age, I've defined it here. It has already been defined here. Anywhere I can use it. So the same thing is applicable here too. When you say define greater than, so maybe you want, let me put this one, let's make this one to be realistic. Let's say compare age. Now you want to compare age. So let's say you want to compare the age of boys. So let's say boys and girls. I'm trying to use the practical example. So your S and girl. So if the age of boy is greater than the age of girl, return true. Or you can say, okay, let's say return true. Yes, return Y. So now I want to know, so let's say the age of boy is 40 is 50. The age of girl is 30. What do you think is going to be 40 here? Is boy age greater than girl? If 50 is greater than 30, when let's print it, it will be, sorry, greater than, oh, sorry, compare, it should have been compare. Yeah, I've changed it to compare. Compare. Compare underscore age. Compare. Okay, sorry, I've not done this. Okay, now, so after this, we run it now. Print this. The question is, based on this condition, if is boy greater than girl, so boy is 50, girl is 30. Maybe you are looking at the age or the number of girls in your class. Can you see 50 is above 10? If I should change it to, let's change this to 30 and change this to 50, it will be false because this is not, 30 is not greater than 50. So maybe you are looking, you can, or you can, okay, let me change this to. So let's give it age. Now let's assume we are comparing the class. Let's say we are comparing the class attendance. Let's say class numbers, right? For boy and girl. Boy, how many girls or how many boys are on this tutorial? Girl. So you can decide to make it, you can say it's X. You can say it's X and Y. Anyone you want to use, right? If X is less than Y, print X is greater than, sorry, it's less than Y. Can you see? Or you can say elif X is greater than Y, print X is greater than Y. Or S, if none of this condition is met, print X equals Y. Can you see that? So now, the question now is, let's define, so now, anybody that comes with C class underscore number. So maybe after the attendance for the day, you have 12 boys, 12 X, and you have 20 Y. So print it. What is the answer? X is less than Y because you are comparing X and Y. So X is 12, Y is 20. So Python will go to here and see what is the first condition. If S is less than Y, is S less than Y? Yes, S less than Y. If it is not, let's in this value and say, let's make it class underscore number. Let's say it is 40, 13. It is x is greater than y. Can you see? So let's make it again. Let's make them to be equal. Class underscore number 40, 40. Can you see? X equals y. So anytime you put this condition, it will go through it and say, okay, which of these conditions are met, are satisfied. Then once you get the ones that are satisfied, it will print out whatever you've programmed to okay, print this. Another thing, you can write function that accept two arguments. Function that accept two arguments. Just the same thing as what we did here. If, for example, you define divisible x, y, z equals to 10. So you now said, if x, y, this logo is for what? For modulus. You remember modulus? That means when you divide x by y, if the remainder equals to 0, return true. But if no, print z. Now, I'm going to show you. Now, I'm going to show you what that means. The same principle with what? So now, we define visible to be x, y, comma, z equals to 10. So we are combining two arguments now. X, y, and we now put z equals to 10. So if, let me use modulus. Let me use, if x plus y equals to 10, yes. If x plus y equals to 10, print true. But if this statement is not true, print out the value of x. You know, I've already defined, sorry, the value of z. I've already defined z, x, y, z. So you now enter x, y, and it will check this condition. If these conditions are met, it will print true. If the conditions are not met, it will print z. So now, let's now put this to be, let's say this is 12, 2. Can you see? 12, 2. So now, when you add x plus y, 12 plus 2 is what? 14. Is it equals to 10? No. That's why it's not printed true. It's printing z, because you said if this condition is met, print true. But if this condition is not satisfied, print value of z, which is 10. So now let's make this to be, let's say this is 4 and 6, right? Let's print. Can you see? True. Because the addition of 4 and 6 equals to 10. And this is true. And we say if this condition is satisfied, print true. That's why we are getting true. Can you see how those things work? Just understand the concept. That's why I try to start from the operators and those functions before coming to this point. Is a gradual process. Yeah. Let's go to this. I think we should be done like 7:30. So let's go to this. Working with iteration. Now, there is what is called a while loop. While loop. This while loop is very, very important. The while loop repeats as long as same condition as this condition is true. The while loop will continue it will be performing its operation until the condition you have given is false. Let me give an example. If x equals to 5, our s is equals to 5, right? Why x? So it's like why Houston is still part of US. Let Texas state still be Texas, for example. So why Houston is still part of US. Let Texas to still be Texas state name should still be Texas. So what that means is the moment Houston is not part of US, you cannot change the name of Texas to another state, to another name. That is what this means. Why I was saying x equals to 5. Why x is greater than 10, is greater than 0. Sorry, is greater than 0. Begin to print why x is greater than 0. Begin to print x. As soon as s is greater, value of s is greater than 0, begin to print out s. But the moment the value of s is less than 0, it is going to print something else. Now look at it. Why x equals to 0, print x, right? Now, we now put an equation here that begin to subtract x1 from the value of x. Start subtracting these two conditions. I think I should show these conditions before. Let me quickly show this. Let me show this. This x equals to x equals to 1, right? S is 1, right? I can increase the value of x by saying x equals to x plus 2. X is no longer, in this case, x is 1, right? But now I've increased the value, I've changed the value of x to x plus 2. That means x, which is 1 here, plus 2 equals to 3 now. X is not 3. The same thing is applicable if I say, if I type x is 3 now, right? If I say x equals to x minus 1.5, x is 1.5, because I've already removed this from this. So in this case now, the first thing is, if you run this thing, it gives you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. This is what happened. The first value of x is 5. Look at it. Is x, which is 5, greater than 0? Yes. X, we have 5, right? Once this is done, subtract 1 from x. So 1 minus 5 equals to 4. Is x now, which is now 4, is it greater than 0? Yes. It's x, it's 4. Subtract another 1 from x. Do you get that? 1 minus 4 equals to 3. Is 3 greater than 0? Yes. It's x, which is 3. This. It go back again. That's why it says it repeats until that condition is true. It repeats as long as the condition is true. So when x equals to 1 now, it minus x plus 1, making is 0. Is 0 greater than 0? No. It's blast off. That's when you have blast off. That is when you have blast off. Let's look at this one. We said y equals to 10. We said y equals to 10. Y equals to 3. That means as long as y is less than 3, print the value of y. Now, y minus 1.5. So the moment y is not greater, it's not less than 3, it will cut off. But look at it. Y equals to 10. Y is less than 3. Y. But is value of y less than 3? No. That is why it cut off. So let's do one practical example. Z equals to 10, right? Y z equals to 20, right? Sorry, yz is less than 20. Print z. Now, so z is 10. As long as z is less than 20, it will print z, right? Now, let's not say z equals to z plus 2. Print what I'm saying here, what this means, as long as y is less than 20, it will continue to print the value of z as long. But after every step, we are adding 2 to the value of z. So it will continue to do that and begin to print the value of z as long as 2 is being added. But the moment this condition is not met, it's not satisfied, it will print stop. Let's press that. Can you see? The first question, z is 10. Is z less than 20? Yes. Print z. The value of z is 10. When it comes here now, 10 plus 2 is 12. Is 12 less than 20? Yes. Print 12. Can you see? It comes to this line again. 12 plus 2, 14. It goes back again. Is 14 less than 20? Yes. Print 14. This is it. Comes to this place, 40 plus 2, 16. Is 16 less than 20? Yes. Print 20. Print 18. Is here. Now, come to this line, 18 plus 2, 20. Is 20 less than 20? No. Print stop. Can you see? So they use this concept. Another practical example of this concept is when you are asked to enter a value, and the number of times you enter it, maybe you are asked to enter your password 3 times, and you have entered it more than 3 times, it will tell you, please don't try again. That's what you are going to get. Please don't try again, because as you are entering it, it is subtracting your number of attempts. The first attempt, it has been programmed that you must enter it 3 times. As you are entering it, it's subtracting it. As soon as the condition is equals to 3, it will stop. It will not allow you to do anything again. This is a practical example of things like this. So let's see how much we can still do within 30. Now, so now we are done with that. We now have what is called, we are not going to add numbers into a list now. Now, that's what the same thing we thought we just did now. In this situation now, we want to create a variable, a list. We call it my list. We just put list bracket, nothing is inside. We now said x equals to 0. As long as x equals to 0, right, you get, add the value of x, this list. Do you remember the function append? Append is when you want to add a new value to a list. Maybe you have a list called 1, 2, 3, and you want to, maybe the name of the list is key. Key equals to, it has 1, 2, 3 inside values. You want to add 10. You just put key dot append in bracket 10. It will now be 1, 2, 3, 10. Now, so in this list now, this list is an empty list. is an empty list because there is no value in it. Now we want to add values to it. We now said x equals to 0 as long as x is less than 10. As long as x is less than 10, please add the value of x into this list table, into this empty list. So my list dot append the value of x. For example, the first one, x equals to 0, right? Why this 0 is less than 10. Therefore, add the value of x, which is 0, to this list. That is why you have 0. Now we come here, we now add x plus 1. So is 0 plus 1 making 1. X is no longer 1 now, x is now 1. X is no longer 0, x is 1. It comes here, x is less than 10. 1 is less than 10. Add value of x, which is 1, to this list. It comes here again, add 1 plus 1, making 2. Is 2 less than 10? Yes. Add the value of 2 into this list. Can you see that? That's what is done. Let me change this to 2 and see. Can you see? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So the while loop is a condition, is a condition that if you continue to repeat on as far as that condition is satisfied. The moment the condition is not satisfied, if you look at this place now, this is 8, right? By the time it comes here, 2 plus 8, 10. Is 10 less than 10? No, it stops. Can you see that? How we are able to create a list? When you type my list now, is what we have here. Let's say my list. Can you see? And don't forget, normally we can create a list by just putting this value 0 and 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. We can do that normally. But can you see another advanced method we use to get that list now? Okay, let's go. So we talk about create a list of even numbers. We can you see, we already have even underscore number 2, 4, 8, 4, 6, 8. You can append. Remember, when you append, it allows you to add more values. Append allows you to add more values. Let's try, and I think we spoke about that in the last video, last class we had. Let's replace 10 by 16. Just put even numbers, right? Dot replace. Don't forget replace function. Replace 10 by 16. Yeah. Okay, it is so append. Wow. Replace function doesn't, the list get has no attribute replace. Okay, I think we use, okay, the replace works for a normal values and variable, not for appendix. But there should be a way. I think we did something. Okay, okay, I'm coming. Maybe I'm supposed to use this. No, it says it has no. So I'm sorry. I think we can't do that. Let's delete this. Delete. Okay, but this you get how to append with this, right? And at the same time, you can multiply. You can multiply what you have in here and using the for function for items or for number. You can put it for items. You can short it for I, or for numbers anyone, just make sure you have whatever you have here is. So what that means is for numbers in this variable, even numbers, can you see? Print number multiplied by 2. Can you see that? So for each number that is here, multiply them by 2. And that is why when you print this, it gives us 4. So this one is multiplied by 2, 4. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 6, 12. 2 times 8, this, and we have that. Also for the instance, I think we mentioned the instance the last time. When you want to print out, maybe, for example, you have this list, 3.3. This is, you want to print, if you look at this, we have, this is 3.3, is a float number, right? It's a float class. This is also a float. This is an integer. This is a float. This is integer. Maybe you want to print out only the integer or the float, you want to print out a particular class. You just say for item in my list, if instance item equals to integer, print it out. What we are saying here is for every item, then for every, I like to use number in this case so that you can understand. For numbers in list, in my list here, right? So you now use this instance. If you remember, we use the instance in this place is to confirm if a variable is an instance of a particular class. So if instance, this number in this set is an integer, print them out. Okay, so a number, yeah. So what this actually does is it goes into this and look, okay, we say for numbers in this list, how many of them are integer? So if this number here, if they are integer, print the numbers out. Let's do the same thing for a float. Let's do the same thing. Let's say for I, let me just use I in my list, right? If instance right, number is a float, right? Print, sorry, I use I, not number, I use I. Or let me use number not to confuse you guys. Whatever you use, make sure you are consistent with it. Because if you are not consistent, it will tell you it is not defined. So let me use number. I like to use number so that you can know, because you may be asking, where do you see number? Where do you see I? So for every number in the list, check if this number are float. If they are float, print those ones that are float out. Can you see? These are the float number. Which ones print out the integer? Why this one print out the float number? So in this case, we also do, that's what is called range. The range is to, if you want to create a list, maybe from 0 to 10, you can just put range of which it will 10. So it means it's from 0 to 10. So just put range. Range is a function. It says this range is from 0 to 10. Because range goes up but does not include the ending number. So when you are putting range, it doesn't include the ending number. So you can just say range n equals to 10. Range n plus 1. If you put range of n, if you just give you 0 to 10, then you can add 1 to it and get that. So I think this range, so in the range we have, so you can have range in 3 numbers. So for example, in this case, we have range optionally led to specify starting number, an ending number, and a step as argument. And a step as argument. So in this case, look, look at it, we can put a range 2, 12, 2. What this means is we want to create a range of 2. You start from number 2 and you end at number 12. But this is the step between them. So it will be 2. So you have, because this is 2, let me just change this to 3 for you to be sure, for you to get it. So let's say it will be 3. So 3 plus 2 plus 3, it will be 5, plus another 3, 8, plus 8 plus 3, 11, and it stopped. So that's why I have it here. When you see this range in these 3 numbers, it means the first one is start. The second, the middle one is the end, while the last is the step. The number of steps is going to move from one number to another number. And like we did for this number, you can see in this number we said a range of 2, 12, and 3. So that's, I don't want us, let us, okay. So that's that. And the same thing goes for this number. When you can multiply them like we had in the previous one. So far so good. We've been able to cover this control flow. So lastly, the last one I want us to do is to look at functions. Another thing is to look at functions. So functions play a very important role in any programming language. They take some input as defined by the user and do calculations and do modification to existing data. So they take it and they do calculation to existing data and finally return the output. For example, math is a function is a module in Python. So you have to import that math module. And once you import that math module, in this case now, let's say you want to calculate the radius of the circle, the area of a circle. You define it, you can define it. This is the circle area. You put, so when you define this radius is the value you will input yourself. When you put area equals to, when you put this math function, to give, so instead of using, ordinarily, if you remember the area of a circle, is pi, isn't it? Multiplied by pi, multiplied by radius, right? By radius raised to power 2, right? But if I want to use this to calculate area of an area, and we have to define what my pi is, and also define what my radius is. But by using the math input function, you don't need to define what your pi is. Mathematically, it knows pi is 22 divided by 7. So area is equals to math I raised to multiply by radius raised to power 2. Return area. All we mean that return area is to print the value of area. So just put the, so if the radius of your circle is 2, it will give you this. If the radius is 10, you automatically calculate it, because this is a function on Python. On Python, mathematical function that already know the value of pi. But if you do not import this, and we use this, it will ask us that pi is not defined. So all these functions are there for us to be able to use for simple mathematical evaluation. So that's what we've been able today. We've been able to work on control flow in our Python programming tutorial today. So it is very, very straightforward, but logic, let me put it that way. straightforward but somehow logical. But the concept is understanding the language of Python. If you are able to understand the language of Python, you will be able to manipulate, you'll be able to give your instruction in a clear language to Python. And Python will be able to give you back the desired or the corresponding output to whatever input you give to it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's it. So it's as fast, it's as straightforward, as clear as that. So the next tutorial, we are going to talk more about other functions that will be a step above these. And by the time we meet, you'll be able to get a clear function of what everything is all about. I think I've been able to meet you guys there, right? Are you guys there or you are tired?
I'm still here. I'm still here, Dr. Evo.
Any update, anything?
No, nothing from my side, sir.
But you get everything.
So I get the way you were explaining it, but I still have to go back and
I know
myself again.
But the fact that at least you understand as it is going, as we are doing it, is one step to knowing it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So you guys should just take time. You guys should please take time. Like I used to say to you guys, it is not